What we're going to do now is a little bit of review in solving equations. So it would be really helpful if you guys went ahead and read this example, and I'm just going to do one from this page and then go ahead and move on. What we're solving for is we want to separate the letters from the numbers, and the letters are going to change. I would just recommend anytime you're setting up an equation to use a letter that can't be easily confused, okay? So we have x plus 9 equals 20. What are the like terms? We've got a number and a number. We've got a 9 and a 20. The only way we can get this 9 on the other side, it says x plus 9. So we have to do the opposite of it, and we have to do it to both sides. So we're going to subtract 9 from this side, and we're going to subtract 9 from this side. That means it'll cancel out because 9 minus 9 is 0. And then you'll have 20 minus 9, which is equal to 11. So x will be equal to 11. Conversely, here I have t minus 2.4 is equal to a negative 1. So we have a negative 2.4, and we've got a negative 1. How do I get this over here? I have to do the opposite. So I'm going to add 2.4. I'm going to add 2.4. These are going to cancel out. And what I'm going to be left with over here is a 1.4 because we had a negative 1 before. So t is equal to 1.4. Now on the next page, we're going to be doing the exact same problem solving, but we're going to be using multiplication and division. Anytime you guys see that the x or the y or whatever that letter is, that variable is connected to the number, that means it's bound to it or it's multiplied by it. So it's 4 times x. So if I have 4 times x is equal to 20, how do I get rid of that x? How do I get that 4 separated to get over here? I have to divide it by 4. I have to do the opposite. When I divide 4x by 4, I'm left with x, and 20 divided by 4 is equal to 5. All right. Over here, let's do this one. I've got x divided by 5 is equal to 1.2. I need to get this 5 on the other side. So the way I do that is I do the opposite of what's happening. It's being divided by. So I'm going to multiply this side by 5, and I'm going to multiply this side by 5. Because of that, these 5s are going to be canceled out. I'm going to be left with x is equal to 1.2 times 5. And then all that is x is equal to 6. Now, last but not least, we are going to do some problems where we are going to have to solve for variables, and it's going to look a little longer. It's going to have more problems associated with it. So what I want to do is I want to break this down in a more simplified way, okay? It may look like a lot because now we don't just have 4x equals 20. We've got 4x plus 10 equals 6 minus 2. But we're taking the idea that we already learned, and we're just going to go ahead and apply it to this problem, okay? So we've got 4x plus 10 is equal to 6x minus 2. We need to pick a side where the letters are going to be, and we need to pick a side where the numbers are going to be. It doesn't matter which one. I typically like to move the numbers to the right, but if you like to move the letters, that's fine. You just need to be consistent. So I've got a positive 10 here, and I've got a negative 2 here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to add 2 here, so these are canceled out, and I'm going to add 2 here. What that means is then I'm going to be left with 6x on this side, and then I'm going to have 4x, and then 10 plus 2 equals 12. Now what I have is I have 6x over here. How can I move this over here? Well, I can go ahead and just subtract 4x from 6x. So I subtract 4x, subtract 4x. I'll be left with 12 is equal to 2x. How can I get rid of this 2? I've got 12 is equal to 2x. 2x is the same thing as saying 2 times x. So I'm going to divide this by 2, divide this by 2. 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6. 2x divided by 2 is equal to 0 or 1. So we'll have 6 equals x. Okay? One last one, I'll do number 2 for you. We have 3 times y minus 2 is equal to 10. I have to go ahead and spread this out. So 3 times y is equal to 3y. 3 times negative 2 is equal to negative 6 is equal to 10. So the first thing that I would do is I would go ahead and add 6 to this side, so that's canceled out. Add 6 to this side. What I'll be left with is 3y is equal to 16. And then all I have to do is I'm just going to divide those two. So I'm going to have 3y divided by 3, 16 divided by 3, and I will be left with y is equal to, what's 16 divided by 3? 5.33 repeating.